Let me first apologize for the voiceover. Unfortunately, my GoPro is not cooperating with the audio panel on the airplane. So until I figure that out, you just have to tolerate my Yankee voice. Uh, as it stands, this is the NG5 I've been trained with at Bristell. It's a great little airplane. I adore the thing. It is fuel injected, so it has no carburetors, and it has an engine control unit instead of magnetos. So when I start to do the run up, you'll see me flipping a couple of switches there, lane A, lane B, and they function not unlike the way a magneto does. You turn it on, turn it off, look for an engine drop, RPM drop. So this is Lancaster, KLNS, Pennsylvania. They're doing a lot of construction. I'm hearing noises that they're going to probably be bringing in regional jets, which is going to make it an even busier. I've been told this is either the second or third busiest airport in Pennsylvania. I can believe it because there's at least three different flight schools here, in addition to all the general aviation and some of these big things. This is going up the slope from Bristell's headquarters up to what we call the West Ramp. You'll see me bend around the jets are up here. There's a lot of money sitting on these ramps up here. These jets are worth a ton of cash. And I will do my run up here on the West Ramp. I don't like going up to the run up area because I don't want to get in everybody's way. I don't want to see three or four airplanes stacked up. So I do my run up here. I'll go around these jets, and it's not a run up that a carbureted or magneto trained pilot would find unusual. I'll pull it up there. You'll see my hands resting right now on a silver T handle, a red T handle. There's two T handles down there. The one to the left is silver, that's the throttle, and the one on the right is the brake. And what I'm doing here is I pull it back, and there's a button between the center console and that other seat that's kind of hard to get to, but that's the locks the brakes back. And I kind of like it. It's not differential braking, but it's convenient to have the brake right there. So here I am running up the RPMs, uh, and what I shall do is I'll pull each one of those lane switches one at a time, and I will look for the engine drop. And you'll see me put my hand up and cover over the switch so that I can block out the sun and see the little warning light that comes up. And on the dashboard, certain instruments will also read out because the ECU also controls them. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the engine drop. I'm looking for the warning indicator on the panel right there by my left hand, and I'm looking for meter disablement on the main panel. So once I do the A and B lanes, then I chop the throttle back to a more moderate RPM, and I turn off my fuel pumps one at a time. Because this is fuel injected, we have electric fuel pumps running all the time, and there are two of them. And for takeoff and landings, both of them are on for safety. But that's what I'm doing is I'm checking. Well, right now I'm putting my camera back on the dashboard. I didn't really want the whole world to see me licking the darn thing, but it didn't want to stay up there. That being said, the fuel pumps, again, you're switching one off at a time, looking for a slight drop in fuel pressure to make sure that they're both working. And then once that's done, I'll again go through the pre-flight or the pre-taxi checklist there, because I have a tendency to be a little concerned about such things. Make sure all my switches are done, and then I'll get on the radio and I'll contact Lancaster Ground seeking permission for taxi. And from the west ramp here, if we're using 3-1, it'll be Delta to Alpha. And as soon as I get clearance, I'll cross the movement line, and then we'll be rolling out. To release the brakes, all I have to do is pull it back until that button pops, and then it's spring loaded, and it'll go forward. So you'll see me do that a couple of times during the videotape, like that. And then a little bit of power, checking on both sides, make sure I'm not going to get run over, and then go out and do the Delta taxiway, go down until it intersects with Alpha, break off to Alpha, and it looks like I'm taxiing much faster than I really am because of the perspective of the camera. All that silvery white stuff at the top of the view, that's actually a sunshade in the top of the bubble. This Bristell's got a a bubble that is very reminiscent of a P-51 Mustang. A lot of sunlight coming in. So here we are. I'm going through the pre-takeoff checklist. Again, because of my OCD, I want to make sure everything's right. Changing the frequency to the tower frequency, making sure my autopilot's off. I never use the darn thing. And making sure all the light switches are on they're supposed to be. Make sure my flaps are set at 10, because there's three switches, or three uh, steps in the flaps. There's 10, 20, 30, and the Bristell takes off with 10 flaps and generally lands with 20. So I'll go up here to the hold short line, and I'll make my hold short call to tower and get permission to take off. So again, I'll pull up and I set the brakes because I don't know how long I'm going to be there. And then I'll make my holding short call to the tower. And for some obscure reason, it was really busy today, but they managed to get me off the ground pretty quick here. I won't be sitting here very long at all. So then it pop the brakes, a little bit of power. This airplane is a joy to take off. There's a little vent problem because it's hot. As you get up to about 50 knots, you just give it a little bit of back pressure, and the airplane just flies right off the runway. It's really a joy. Uh, I mean, it's a little bit of a rocket ship because it's so nimble and it's lightweight, and it's got that 100-horse Rotax up there. So here we go. Right rudder, right rudder. And you'll just see, if you look, you can see me just a little bit of back pressure. There we go, right there. And then she just flies off the runway. Just a joy to fly, joy to fly. So what I'm doing today is I'm trying to get rid of some of the cobwebs. I should be ready for my DPA pretty soon, but I still have a few things I want to get a little bit sharper on. The short field takeoffs and landings, soft field takeoffs and landings. I'm still a little uncomfortable with that. I'm coming in here. I'm just now putting in the third notch, the 30-degree flaps. And in this little plane, it feels like there's a hook up the tail of the plane. It really feels odd to come in at such a sharp angle. But I'm getting ready to exercise a short field landing. And as we get closer to the runway, it'll look like I'm very, very low, but I'm not. If you look beyond the numbers, you can see the PAPI lights there that will be coming up shortly. And they are, in fact, red over white. Again, it's just the perspective of the camera. So my intent at this point, or at least my plan, is as I cross the threshold and the number's 3-1, my aim point is the beginning of that very first stripe. And to put it down within 200 feet, the wheels should touch before the beginning of that second stripe. And I make it. I just make it, but I make it nonetheless. So it would have been a good. And here we go, coming across the threshold, aiming for the beginning of that first stripe. Hold it off, hold it off. There we are, just before that second stripe. Now I have to move it back up to 10 degrees of flaps, full power, right rudder, and then off I go. So I'm sorry it's been so long since I posted a video, but real life interfered, and now we're getting back into it. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I certainly hope to have another one again real soon. Thanks for seeing it.